So today the Lincoln Project released an epic new video that once again crushes the alt-right's ridiculous narrative. After what we've seen from them in the past year, I would say they've redeemed themselves in part for their transgressions in the 2000 election when these same people helped George W. steal Florida and thus the presidency from Al Gore. No one has been more effective at humiliating Donald Trump and his maggots than they have. Let's take a look.
Now, more than ever, it's important for Americans to take care of their health. When it comes to protecting yourself against the COVID-19 virus, the FDA-approved vaccine might not be the right choice for patients who are allergic to reality. That's why there's Ivermectin, the COVID-19 treatment option for real patriots. With Ivermectin, you can say nay to the FDA and take matters into your own hooves. Don't take Ivermectin if you plan on driving, operating heavy machinery, or if you're wearing your good pants. Side effects of ivermectin can include uncontrollable vomiting and diarrhea, the inability to pronounce Kamala Harris's name, or a sudden urge to speak to the manager. Some patients taking ivermectin have reported hallucinations of lizard people in the halls of Congress, and in rare cases, finding Joe Rogan's podcast helpful and/or informative. Call your doctor if you begin to experience delusions of grandeur about the supremacy of your race. Homicidal thoughts or actions toward your elected representatives can occur without warning. Join the herd. Talk to your large animal veterinarian about ivermectin today. Or don't, because you're not a f***ing sheep.
That was absolutely hilarious. That was the first video that came across my YouTube feed this morning, and I really can't think of a better way to start my day. So Joe Rogan, America's brotard, is now trying to bullshit everyone because he looks like a fool for taking sheep dewormer. I guess Anna Kasparian was right when she said he's shifting way to the right lately. I guess if you're full of shit, you just stick to your story. Let's take a look.
Mm-hmm. This is the grand conspiracy, right? The grand conspiracy is that the pharmaceutical companies are all in cahoots to try to make anybody who takes this stuff look crazy. But what's crazy is look how better I got. Yeah. I got better pretty quick, bitch.
Joe Rogan unfortunately decided to double down on his use of ivermectin to treat coronavirus, even though there is no evidence that suggests that ivermectin, a treatment for parasitic infections, is in fact effective treatment for COVID-19. Now, this is really disastrous because, to be quite honest with you, I think I might have overestimated Joe Rogan's intelligence, and that's really embarrassing on my part. Now, if you're asking why, you'll understand in this video where he says that ivermectin did in fact help him, but he's wrong about that, and I'll prove it in just a second. Let's watch.
But what they didn't highlight is that I got better.
Yeah, you got better quickly.
They try to make it seem as if like I'm doing some wacky that's completely ineffective. And CNN was saying that I'm a distributor of misinformation.
So he also said in the context of that conversation that he should maybe sue CNN. But if he's going to sue them specifically for alleging that he is spreading misinformation, he wouldn't have a case. He is, I think, unintentionally spreading misinformation. So I don't think that there's any malice in what he's doing. I think he genuinely believes that ivermectin somehow helped him, somehow made him better after he tested positive for coronavirus. But here's the thing, if you decide to take ivermectin, and that is the only drug you are taking to treat your coronavirus issue, then maybe you can make a case, right? But it's not like he did some sort of controlled experiment. In fact, he was very transparent about throwing the kitchen sink at this COVID diagnosis. Let's watch.
Got tested, and turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything.
He's taken a bunch of things in addition to ivermectin, and he is arguing that ivermectin is what helped him feel better. I thought he was smarter than that. I would venture to say that the monoclonal antibodies probably had some impact on helping him feel better. I'm not 100% sure, but it's certainly not ivermectin because there's no scientific data indicating that ivermectin, which treats parasitic infections, works for COVID-19. There's no data, there's no data, there's no data. In fact, the one meta-analysis that everyone keeps pointing to was withdrawn. How does he not know this? I don't care about Joe Rogan. I care about the people who are watching his show or listening to his show who might not know better. Joe Rogan's got all the resources in the world to not be an idiot, but he has chosen to be an idiot. So whatever, he can do whatever he wants. But the fact that he's pushing a drug that is not effective for COVID-19 is dangerous to his listeners. So let's go back to that meta-analysis that was withdrawn. Why was it withdrawn? Well, why don't we go to Dr. Andrew Hill, who was one of the co-authors for that meta-analysis? What did he say? Our meta-analysis of survival for ivermectin had to be retracted after one of the main studies was suspected of medical fraud. With the revised version, there is no statistically significant survival benefit for ivermectin. So the original version should not be quoted, but it keeps getting quoted by some people who apparently could be bad actors, maybe decided not to really read up or follow up on what's going on with ivermectin. I just want to show you what a genius Joe Rogan is as he's talking about this topic.
I had this guy on, Dr. Pierre Corey, and he is, what is the organization he's from? Frontline COVID Critical Care Workers? Yeah, there's a lot of C's. He's well-established doctors, treated thousands of people with COVID, and they've, early on in the pandemic, they found some good efficacy with ivermectin. Frontline 19 Critical Care Alliance.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had him on, and he had talked to me about it. He's not the only doctor that told me to take it. Multiple doctors told me to take it. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to have what is the exact thing it's supposed to do? There's something that I highlighted. And this is obviously, I'm not a doctor. It says ivermectin was found to be a blocker of viral replicase, REPLICASE protease, and I don't know what this word is, human TMPRSS2, I don't know.
What? But he mentions in the last clip that I showed you that this doctor is the one who's been pushing it. He's with this organization, and the organization he's talking about is connected to a pill mill that runs out of a strip mall in America somewhere. I forget the exact state. And there's certainly a profit motive involved here, right? So on one hand, you have a free vaccine that Americans can get pretty much anywhere. There's like a CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens. There have been some issues getting to rural parts of the country, but Biden certainly improved that, right? So why would people go out of their way to take a drug that they would have to pay for when there's a free vaccine? And as I talked about on the show earlier, there is a profit motive behind slanging this stuff.
He's only fooling the fools here. My only brother, who was unvaccinated by choice because he listens to clowns like Rogan, wasn't lucky enough to have the Regeneron option. And now he's lying in a hospital bed in long-term care on a ventilator at 47 years old. We don't even know if he's going to survive, let alone fully recover. All we can do is hope for the best and just be responsible about this pandemic so we can beat this. Just stop the stupid already.